Life doesn't often come with warnings. The challenges that we face can hit us out of nowhere, like a storm breaking on an otherwise calm day. You might be going about your life, working hard, dreaming big, thinking everything's in place, but then life breaks you. It could be anything: the loss of a loved one, a career setback, a relationship falling apart, a health scare, or the crushing weight of self-doubt. The moment when everything you've worked for seems to crumble beneath you and you're left standing amidst the rubble asking, why me? I know that feeling. It feels like the world is spinning too fast and you can't keep up. It feels like your heart has shattered into 1,000 pieces and no amount of effort will ever put it back together again. It feels like everything that once mattered now feels so far out of reach. But here's the thing no one tells you in those moments: that pain, that breaking, isn't the end. It's the beginning. It's the moment you're called to rise, the moment you must confront the inner storm that's been brewing in you, whether you realized it or not. We all have a story of hardship. Some stories are louder than others, but each of us has faced a moment when we thought we couldn't go on. And in that moment, we either give up or we find a way to fight. When life breaks you, it's tempting to let the weight of your misfortune crush you, to believe that what's happened is a reflection of who you are, that you are a failure, that you can't get back up, or that your dreams were never meant to be. But that's where the power to fight lies. Not in what happened to you, but in what you choose to do next. There is an inner strength that we often overlook until we're pushed to the edge. It's a strength that's not about muscles or willpower. It's the quiet resolve that rises from the deepest parts of our soul when we have no other choice but to survive. And when we summon that strength, we begin to shift the narrative. What's broken within us becomes a foundation, not a barrier. But before we can fight back, we have to understand what has happened. Acknowledge that life has tested us, not because we are weak, but because life sees something in us that we haven't yet discovered ourselves. Our scars become a testimony of the battles we've survived, and in each scar, there's a story of resilience. It's not about denying the pain, but about understanding that pain doesn't define you. You're more than your worst moment. You're more than your mistakes. And you're certainly more than the suffering you're facing right now. But to understand this, you have to sit with the discomfort. You have to allow yourself to feel the sting, the sorrow, and the frustration. Only when you do can you transform that energy into something more powerful. That's when the fight begins. In these early moments of despair, there's a choice that has to be made. Will you remain broken, or will you use that pain as fuel to rebuild? The pain is real, the hurt is real, but the healing is too. That's the truth you need to hold on to when life breaks you. Healing doesn't happen overnight. It's not a magical switch that flips on, but it's a process. And in that process, the first step is acknowledging that you are not your pain. What you've been through doesn't define who you are or where you can go. It's a part of your journey, not the destination. And when you realize that, you begin to see yourself differently. The power you need to fight back was always there, even if it's buried under layers of fear, doubt, and sadness. Now, the question isn't whether life will break you again. The question is, what will you do when it does? How will you respond? In the next part, we will explore the choice to take action and how each of us has the power to rebuild our lives from the ground up. Because the story doesn't end with the break. It begins with what you choose to do next. Once life has broken you and you've begun to understand that the pain is not your identity, the real challenge begins. It's time to rise. Not because you have no other choice, but because there's still something in you that refuses to stay down. The fight begins when you make the decision that you will not be defined by your wounds, your failures, or your suffering. This is where the true battle lies. Not in the external forces that broke you, but in the internal battle to rise, to rebuild, and to redefine yourself. The first step in fighting back is acceptance, not of the situation, but of your own power to change it. The truth is, you are far more powerful than you realize. Inside you, there is an unspoken strength that you haven't tapped into yet. And this strength isn't just physical or mental. It's emotional and spiritual. It's the part of you that is unbreakable. no matter what life throws at you. But this strength won't come automatically. You have to activate it. You have to choose to fight. There's a reason so many motivational stories talk about heroes who face incredible odds, because those stories highlight the core of human resilience. When faced with overwhelming darkness, we still have the ability to create our own light. And that light isn't just about feeling better in the moment, it's about forging a new path forward, even when the way seems unclear. The courage to fight is found in every small decision you make in the face of fear, doubt, and uncertainty. There's a moment in every story of resilience when you realize that just surviving isn't enough anymore. It's not enough to just get through the day. You want more. You need more. You want to rebuild not just what was broken, but something stronger, something greater. And the key to that rebuild lies in what you choose to do next. One of the hardest things after life breaks you is the pressure to have everything figured out immediately. There's this idea that you need to move on or bounce back right away. But that's not the reality of healing. You don't just wake up one day feeling perfectly fine, ready to take on the world. The fight to rebuild is a slow and steady one. It's about taking one step, one decision, one day at a time. And that's where the first act of fighting back comes in, taking action, even when you don't feel ready. It could be as small as getting out of bed when you feel like sinking deeper into your despair. It could be choosing to speak to someone when isolation feels like the only thing that makes sense. It could be committing to learning something new even though you don't feel capable or confident. Every small action, no matter how insignificant it may seem, is a victory. Every time you decide to act in the face of adversity, you are building the foundation for your next chapter. One of the most powerful aspects of taking action is the way it breaks the cycle of helplessness. When you're in the midst of pain, it's easy to feel trapped. The weight of your circumstances can make it feel like there's no way out. But action is the key to breaking free from that paralysis. Even a small step forward is still forward. You may not see the end result yet, but every action moves you closer to the person you're meant to be on the other side of this battle. You also need to surround yourself with people who will remind you of your strength, even when you can't see it. It's easy to forget your own power when you're in the trenches, but having people around you who can see the light inside you can reignite the fire you thought had gone out. Whether it's friends, family, or mentors, these people are like anchors in a storm. They help keep you grounded when the world feels like it's spinning out of control. But just as important as the people who support you are the people who challenge you. Growth often comes from uncomfortable places. You need people who will push you to grow, who won't let you stay in your comfort zone, but instead will challenge you to rise above what you thought was possible. Growth doesn't happen in a vacuum, and sometimes the fight to get back on your feet requires that you step outside of your comfort zone. Now, fighting back also means facing the toughest adversary of all, yourself. The voice in your head that tells you to quit, that you're not good enough, or that you'll never get through this. That's the voice that must be silenced. Self-doubt is a silent killer. It creeps in, insidiously convincing you that you're not worthy of happiness, success, or love. But the moment you decide to fight back, you're not just battling the circumstances around you, but the limiting beliefs within you. Here's the hard truth. You'll face failure. You'll fall down again. There will be moments where the fight feels overwhelming, where the pain of being broken feels like it's never going to end. But here's what you need to understand. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of it. Every time you fall, you learn. Every time you stumble, you gain strength. And every time you get up again, you prove to yourself that you are unbreakable. Remember, it's not about perfection, it's about perseverance. It's about showing up for yourself, even when you don't feel like it. It's about finding strength in the small victories and learning to trust that the fight, though hard, is worth it. So what does it really mean to fight back? It means embracing the discomfort. It means doing the hard work of healing, even when you don't feel like you can. It means believing in yourself when the world doesn't. It means choosing hope, action, and resilience every single day. In the next part, we'll explore how to transform the battle into a journey of growth, how to rebuild not just what's broken, but how to create a version of yourself that's stronger, more confident, and ready to face whatever life throws your way. The fight to rise, to heal, and to move forward doesn't just stop at action. It's not enough to simply get through the storm. You must emerge from it changed, stronger, and more determined than ever. The real power in the battle lies in what you do with the broken pieces once you've gathered them up. How you rebuild, reshape, and refocus your life will determine not just your survival, but your transformation. This is where the journey shifts from simply fighting to thriving. The pain, the loss, the struggle, all of that will always be a part of your story, but it doesn't have to be the whole story. You are not defined by the things that have tried to break you. What defines you now is your decision to rise from the ashes and become something greater than you were before. The process of rebuilding doesn't happen overnight. It's not something you can rush or force. It's a slow, often grueling process of learning to trust yourself again, of accepting your imperfections, and of creating something new from the brokenness. The beauty of rebuilding, though, is that you don't have to do it alone. You can take the lessons from your past and use them to shape your future. One of the first steps in rebuilding is to focus on the small things that matter. The small victories you've been achieving throughout the process, getting out of bed, pushing through the doubts, taking action despite fear, those are the building blocks of the new foundation you're creating. And those moments, no matter how insignificant they may seem at the time, are incredibly powerful. They're proof that you're moving forward, even when it feels like you're standing still. But rebuilding requires more than just action. It requires vision. You have to ask yourself, what do I want my life to look like on the other side of this battle? Who do I want to become? It's easy to get lost in the pain of the present moment. But to truly fight back, you must look ahead and visualize the person you're becoming, not the person you used to be. This process of rebuilding is not about returning to who you were before the break. It's about evolving. It's about taking what you've learned from the pain and using it to create a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. The person who emerged from the fire will never be the same as the one who went in. And that's a good thing. Every time you make a conscious choice to rise above your circumstances, to push through your doubts, to act despite fear, you're reinforcing your new identity. You are no longer a victim of life's challenges. You are a survivor, a fighter, a creator. You're building not just a life that survives, but a life that thrives. But with rebuilding comes letting go. You can't build a new foundation if you're holding on to the old one. To truly rise, you have to release the grudges, the regrets, and the guilt that you've been carrying. These emotional weights hold you back from moving forward. They cloud your judgment, distort your perspective, and keep you anchored in a past that no longer serves you. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means accepting what happened, learning from it, and choosing to move forward without the burden of resentment or shame. This is one of the hardest parts of rebuilding, but it's also one of the most liberating. You must free yourself from the weight of what you cannot change and focus on what you can create. Another crucial aspect of rebuilding is redefining success. When life breaks you, it's easy to think that you've lost everything: your dreams, your purpose, your goals. But the truth is, the road to success isn't linear. It's messy, it's unpredictable, and it's filled with detours. Success isn't just about achieving a certain outcome. It's about growth, resilience, and the ability to rise after every fall. When you redefine success as the courage to continue, no matter how hard it gets, you begin to realize that you are more successful than you ever imagined. As you rebuild, take time to celebrate your progress, no matter how small it may seem. Each step forward is a victory. Each obstacle you overcome is a testament to your strength. The more you acknowledge and appreciate your own resilience, the stronger you will become. It's in these small victories that you will find the fuel to keep going. But perhaps the most profound transformation in rebuilding comes when you start to see the beauty in your scars. You see, the things that have broken you don't have to remain as marks of pain. They can be reminders of how far you've come, of what you've survived, and of how much strength you truly have. Your scars become a part of your story, but they don't define it. They are not the end. They are the beginning of your journey towards something greater. In every scar, there is a lesson. In every wound, there is wisdom. And in every moment of darkness, there is an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to transform into a version of yourself you never thought possible. Now, as you look back at the life that once broke you, you realize something profound. You are no longer the person who was shattered. You are the person who rebuilt. You are the person who faced adversity, not with fear, but with courage. You are the person who found strength in the fight and power in the rebuild. You are the person who turned pain into purpose, failure into fuel, and every setback into a setup for a greater comeback. And as you move forward, you'll carry with you not just the lessons you've learned, but the truth that life doesn't break you. It shapes you. It molds you into something more resilient, more determined, and more capable than you were before. Every challenge, every loss, every setback has prepared you for the next chapter, the next step in your journey. So when life breaks you, don't despair. Fight back, rebuild, and rise. You are capable of so much more than you think. The storm doesn't last forever, and you'll emerge from it stronger, wiser, and more powerful than ever before.